Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two blended Irish whiskeys from about the same time period of introduction. And so here we go. This is Two Gingers. There's the Irish flag. This is from Kilbeggan Distillery. It was introduced in 2011. I bought this at Total Wine and More for $15.99. Okay, so that's Two Gingers. It's double distilled instead of triple distilled. It's 80 proof and it's aged 4 years. All right. Don't see it around too much, but it's around more now than maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So it's getting more prominent. Now here's Teeling. A lot of stores sell this Teeling Small Batch. It says 1782, but really it's from 2012. 2012, and their own distillery didn't open up till 2015. It was one of those that they brought back, you know, that kind of thing. Non-chill filtered. I forgot to write that. Non-chill filtered. There's no age statement. Forgot to write that. This is a 2019 bottle. Let me update the notes because I wanted to be accurate. Put this over here so my hand doesn't knock it over. It's a 3-to-1 blend ratio. In other words, 3 parts grain whiskey to 1 part single malt. Okay. 75-25, in other words. Which is 3-to-1. All right. 3/4 to 1/4. All right. Let's see. Non-chill filtered. No age statement. But it is aged in ex-bourbon barrels and finished in Caribbean rum barrels. Price. Well, I'll show you these one more time, then I'm going to turn on the light so it's not so dark. Okay, so there they are. Same size bottles, 750 milliliters. Price. Okay. I told you $15.99. Now this one runs about $38, but I got it for $14.99 at Mathern's. Don't know why they had it $14.99, but I said, I don't know if that's a good price. I never heard of Teeling, you know, so I didn't know if that was a good price or not. So I came home later when I got a chance, and I looked up the price, and I was like, oh, yeah. So I went and made sure I bought it. My friend David wanted a bottle. $14.99. Teeling Irish whiskey. Let's see. Small batch, $38.49. I was right, $38.49. Single malt is $53. Single grain is $49.99. Okay, so this is like the basic model, but you know, that's most of these distilleries have that. Now, Two Gingers, there's only that. Well, I think there's a Two Gingers honey I saw somewhere. No, it's honey Irish whiskey is not on the website. It's kind of like Paddy's. There's a Paddy's honey, but they don't list it on the website. It's like flavored with honey, Irish whiskey liqueur. Okay, anyway. It's a real cork too. It's not pressed board cork or neoprene. It's not a twist cut. I better moisturize it. These things will get dry rotted. I found that out the hard way with 2 different liquors. The 1983 bottle of 8-year age Wild Turkey 101, pulled the cork off. It disintegrated into the whiskey, so I had to filter it through a coffee filter and get it out and rebottle it with a funnel. And then which was an aggravating thing. And then we had that, I should have known better the second time. Oh no, I couldn't help it because it was, I could have maybe if I'd have been patient. It was the biscuit brandy. That's how I pronounce it, biscuit. I'm sure the French say like biscuit or something, but somebody gave me a full bottle, but the cork was just all messed up, so we couldn't get it off, and then we had to do the same thing, put it through a coffee filter and then use a funnel and put it back in the bottle and cap it with a wine cork. Enjoyed it. A client said, "Morning, Ron. Surprised I caught you this early eating breakfast plus coffee before work." Well, have a good day at work. Thanks for watching. And so let's look now. Here we go. Oh yeah, the Buchan biscuit. That was the name of the company that makes that brandy. But that happened. Okay, so this one is clear. This is the what? The true ginger, clear and kind of a greenish yellow. I said that when I did the solo review. I haven't posted that yet. I'm so backlogged. Now this one is gold or straw, but I see sediment throughout. I mean, there is an amazing amount of sediment in this whiskey. Little chunks of white something. I don't know what it is. A lot of whiskeys I have, when I get further down the bottle over the years, they'll get more sediment. I guess it's the components separating some kind of way. It's like breaking down. Now people say whiskey doesn't go bad in the bottle. You can save it for decades. I didn't say it went bad. It tastes fine. I say it's breaking down because when you first get it, it'd be clear. And then as you drink through these taste challenges, which takes years, it'll get more and more sediment in it. Now, it's got to be a reason. Or it's not that filtered to start with, like you think in the solids or what? Sinking to the bottom. So the bottom of it has more solid material than the top. So when you pour it, the solids stay at the bottom. That could be it too. I'm not a scientist, all right? I'm just, trying to take an educated guess. Let's see. 38 minus 16. 22 plus the 50 cents. 22 and a half. $21.50. Is it going to be $21.50 better? Well, we're about to find out. $21.50. $21.50 better. Of course, in my case, I actually paid $1 less for the Teeling because of that incredible $14.99 price. Can't explain it. Didn't ask questions. I'm not going to say to a store manager, "Hey, I think you got that price wrong. Shouldn't it be 38? I don't know what kind of deal they got. Now, I mean, if I see somebody make a mistake and I know it's a mistake, yeah, I'm going to point it out. Like when the girl rang up the whiskey 2 for $5, but the whiskey was 2 for $10. And she's thinking like, I don't know. She was like thinking backwards. Well, two 5s make 10. So I'm going to do 2 into 5 and get $2.50 a piece. $2.50 for a handle. I said it was already cheap enough, $5 for a handle of Canadian whiskey. I said, "No, you got it wrong." I say it's supposed to be $5 a piece, not 2 for $5. And she was like, "Oh," and she rang up. But I still don't think she understood. But some people are really bad at math. And it was the kind of thing where she had to punch it in because like the tag didn't ring up. I don't know why. Just smelled like grains, a little fruit. I'm trying to detect, does it have Caribbean rum notes? Not to my knowledge. They're both aged in ex-bourbon barrels, right? The two gingers, and then it's yeah, 4 years, and it's only double distilled instead of triple. And is it chill filtered or not? I don't know. It doesn't say non-chill filtered. Usually that indicates that it's chill filtered, which some people say is bad, other people say is good, depending on the company you're talking to. This smells pungent, but I don't get any pear or apple like that other one. So I'm thinking that's the Teeling, because I was just watching a video by Food Quig, and he was talking about he was getting pear and apple in the two gingers. Oh wait, he was getting it in the two gingers, not the Teeling. Huh. So maybe this is the Teeling. But I don't know. That's really the answer. But I think when I taste it, I'll know, because 92 proof is going to show up over 80 proof, right? 46% alcohol versus 40% alcohol. I think that's going to be evident. Hope it is. Cheers. So we got 3 components. Which one tastes better, in my opinion? Can I tell them apart? And thirdly, is it worth the price differential? That's the 3 main questions in these taste challenges. Got to do it blind, or otherwise it's screwed up. It's too much bias can be involved. It's a full body here. It's got that alcohol charge. It's got the nutty characteristic, vanilla. So a little twang at the end, like a fruity twang, which I think is coming from Caribbean rum barrels, like a sugary thing. Yeah, it tastes like sugar water, because all whiskey to me tastes like sugar water. Ultimately, not to say they all taste the same. They say the ultimate flavor, not the particular flavors. Just a general flavor, really. Okay, over here. Is there an American blended whiskey with a 3-to-1 ratio, 75-25? Yeah, Seagram 7 Crown, same ratio, 75% grain whiskey, or in its case, grain neutral spirits, not even aged. The whiskey, the grain spirit, not even aged, and 25% straight whiskey. So Teeling is different, because in Ireland, even the grain spirits have to be aged at least 3 years. Can't use raw grain alcohol. I didn't make the law. Or the regulation in pursuant to the law. This one has a little fruity note too. It has a lot of bread taste, which is making me think it's probably higher than 25% malt whiskey. It might be 40% something. No, yeah, 35%. Huh. Very bready. So which is which? And it's lighter. See, like I think this is the 2 gingers, because from Kilbeggan, because it is lighter. Overall, it's lighter, and it is lighter in a literal sense, not just in a perceptual sense. So I'm gonna say now, which one do I like better, though? Let's say, which one do I prefer? Yeah. Oh, and there's that little twinkling of peat. It's like a little tinkle of, it's just like a little bell tinkling, like ding, 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 of peatiness. Now you say, you're mad, you're crazy, Irish whiskey's not peated, and so forth. Okay, I get that. I know. But it's still picking it up. No. I think I prefer the Teeling though. I like the honey notes, the pear. It's like a little pear or apple, something. The vanilla, the stronger proof, the full body. Is it way better? $21.50 better? Oh no, I don't go for that now. I'm not buying that. I'm gonna save the $21.50 and just buy the 2 gingers. Okay, you say that's cheap, $15.99. I know that. I bought it. But still, it's pleasant enough. I just saved the money. You're not getting $21.50 of extra experience. It's an extra experience. It's a more elaborate experience. It's a more delightful, I guess you'd say, experience in all of that. But I'm saying I'm not seeing the price differential. But in my case, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant in my case because, like I told you, I only paid $14.99 for the Teeling Small Batch to start off. So I was benefiting all the way at the get-go because I paid $1 less for a superior product. I paid $1 less for the superior product than I paid for the inferior product. So I got it flip-flopped. So very pleased all around. Would I recommend both? Of course I recommend both. But I'm just telling you, it's probably best to save the $21.50 and just get the 2 gingers. But a little bit unusual product, but it's very pleasant. Teeling, please be Teeling. It is. Ha 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 ha. I got it right again. Second in a row. Got it right with Jameson, and I got it right with Teeling Small Batch. Now I got another Teeling product coming up, probably Tuesday, unless I get bored out of my mind waiting for the National Socialist Football League playoffs to start at 2 o'clock Central. Y'all probably remember back when it used to start at 11:30 a.m. Central, and then the second game would be at 3 Central. Those are the good old days. Divisional playoffs. Saturday, start 11:30. Second game start at 3. Sunday, 11:30. Second game would start at 3. And then it was over by around 6 o'clock, 6:30. Now they start at 2 in the afternoon and they dragging on till 11 o'clock or whatever at night, and people got to go to work. And, you say, but it's for California, because then if it starts at 2 o'clock Central, it's 1 o'clock in California. Yeah, it's still late, right? Oh, no, that's 12 o'clock, 2 hours behind. Okay, so it starts at 2 o'clock here. It's 12 noon in California. Well, how about start at 1:30 here, and then it's 11:30 in California? But they're not going to listen to me. The National Socialist Football League is not going to listen to me. Hector says, morning, Ronald, watching NFL highlights. Cheers, I just got home from work. Yes, I woke up very early this morning, and I watched the replays of the entire game, including commercials and delays. I'm talking about the summary, all the big plays of the 2 games. Of course, I was listening yesterday on the Westwood one and watching it on National Bolshevik Corporation, but television. But it took me a little while because the first set of highlights for the afternoon game was 14 minutes long, and then the second one was 11 minutes. That was 11 wasted minutes because that game was so terrible. Giants and the Eagles. I mean, Philadelphia whipped them, tore them up. I've been across the street from that stadium, but I've never been in the stadium. I was also across the street at the Philadelphia Phillies ballpark, the old Veterans Stadium, which they tore down. And then across the street, they built, it's like a 4-way, one boulevard running north-south and one running east and west. It's State Highway 611, Pennsylvania State Highway 611, if you want a point of reference, which intersects with Interstate 95 at the bottom by the river or the waterway. It's like a dock, a port, like a port area. And so I went to Veterans Stadium and saw baseball games there. Actually one baseball game there the last year of the stadium, 2003. And then I went back a number of times and saw the Phillies at that ballpark. And I knew where to park for free. I never paid to park. I knew where to go. And they had this really interesting fish. It's like a wholesale fish market I went walking around in that huge thing. I don't think they sold to the public, but they let you go in, you know. And I was looking, I said, look at this thing, man. This is more interesting than a museum. Museum's so boring, you know. It's a bunch of old documents and paintings and all the stuff that you could look at online if you wanted to see it. The only museum I really like is the Historic New Orleans Collection, which doesn't cost any money. And secondly, they have interesting exhibits, and it's not too huge where you just get bored out of your mind, you know. At least the zoo, you say, well, the zoo is like a museum of live animals. Yeah, living. You feel sorry for them because they captured, but they're, you know, usually the cats stay sleeping, you know, because that's all they do. But sometimes they'll be walking around. But so that was like an interesting real museum, the fish market, like in Washington, D.C. Also, I was fascinated. Okay. Comments. Top of the morning to you, Ron. I just had a single shot of Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I got some of that. I got almost a full bottle of it. What am I saying? Cheers. What if they aged their whiskey in older barrels that held Scotch whiskey? That would give it a different. Yeah, it would. It would give it that peatiness, but there's only one little problem. They don't claim to do that. They're not saying anything about Scotch barrels. They say ex-bourbon. So we have a winner. That might explain the slight note of peatiness. It would. I don't really know. You know, Scotch a lot of times is aged in ex-bourbon barrels. But then in that case, it would be ex-Scotch / ex-bourbon barrel. But I don't know. Yeah, there's no law like really about, there's no regulation about what barrels, you know. The regulation just say oak barrels. If they're new barrels, fine. They're charred, no problem. New charred, old charred, never charred. That's not the issue. It's they have to be oak barrels, any kind of oak, but they usually use white oak. Apparently, that's the most neutral flavor. But and it has to be 3 years. Beyond that, use your discretion if you're a distiller. Ireland and Scotland, or Northern Ireland, either one of those 3 areas. Age 3 years in oak barrels. The rest is up to you. All right. There's no law that I can see about imported barrels or originated barrels, used barrels, new barrels, really old, rickety, you know, well maintained. And nothing about that. Canada, same thing. It say oak barrels. It doesn't say anything about the origin, the age, the charred or uncharred character, or any of those things. Bourbon, yeah. Bourbon is specific. Wayne Franklin says, good morning. Good morning to you, Wayne. Bourbon is specific. Any plans on buying Macallan Scotch? I don't know if you buy. Yes, I have plans. Now, I can't say when those plans are going to be instituted, because if you see all the single malt Scotch I got back in that other room, you'd be saying, oh, it's going to be in the 2030s. You say, well, you're kidding around, you know, but I'm actually not kidding around. That's how long it's going to take. That's how long it's going to take. I mean, it's a lot. It's crazy. But I mean, I got a good deal. So I saw the prices. I said, oh, these are great prices for single malt Scotch. So I bought multiple bottles, Caribbean rum finish, bourbon barrel finish. What was the other one? It wasn't tequila. It was something. I don't know. And then I got the 10-year. I mean, it's just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. So I kept buying. It kept going, and I kept buying. I got the Glengasol Evolution. Now, this is going to sound like a straight up lie. You say, I'm unsubscribing because you're lying. Well, you could do that, but I'm not lying. I was at Savannah Discount. Robert, the Whiskey Scout, he could testify to that. So can David Garlapy. I was in there 5 years ago, and I saw Glengasol Evolution. I said, I never heard of this single malt in my life. But for $15.99, I'm going to take the chance. You know, I'm gonna take a chance. Come home, start doing research. $65 a bottle. I'm checking on the internet. The lowest price I found was 58. 58. So it's running 58 to $65 a bottle. I got it for $15.99. That's a fact. I'm sorry. I think some people get angry and say I'm lying because they're jealous, and you shouldn't be jealous, okay, of people getting a good deal. It's like being jealous of somebody that has a lot of money because they have a good job. I'm not jealous of anybody that has a lot of money that has a great job. I'm not jealous about that. I'm not. That's fine. It's fine with me. You say, but you got no ambition. You got no ambition. You live in an old 72-year-old house in an old neighborhood. That's true. I don't have any ambition really, except to try to be a good person to the best of my ability and try to be nice to everybody and do interesting videos. That's true. I never was a money person. I don't know why. Some kind of psychological approach or something. I just didn't care about it. I like having enough to buy things, simple things, but to say, oh, I got this drive to make a lot of money, I just don't have it. I don't have the drive. I didn't have it when I was 14 or 24 or 34 or so on. I just don't. I'm sorry. It's not me. Me and you may not be the same mindset, Okay. Any plans? Oh, McAllen, like I said, yeah, but I got so many things I want to buy. It's not possible. But like you said, they noted used bourbon barrels, which is whiskey and not whiskey. What you mean? It is all whiskey. I'm up early enough to catch it live at 6:57. So Ato Daso Lehi. Well, welcome to the video. All right. I appreciate everybody watching. This is a win-all situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you win all around. Like some of these really cheap American blended whiskeys, you lose all around, basically. Me not really losing because you didn't pay anything. But yeah, everything here is a winner. Like no matter what choice you make, you win because you get a delicious product that's well made to really to perfection. Master distillers know what they're doing. See, so we call this an approach conflict. It's a conflict only in the sense that you have to make a choice. You understand? Like you got to choose one. Somebody takes you to a party or birthday party or whatever, and they say, "Look, I'll buy you some whiskey, but you got to choose which one you want." And so you got to choose. And you say, "Well, I got this Teeling's Small Batch, and over here I got 2 gingers." Now, if somebody's buying it for you, maybe you're not too worried about the price, but let's assume that everything is equal. It isn't really. Either choice you make, you win. That's what an approach conflict is. This choice is approachable. That means you want it. It's a benefit. It's positive. And the other side is positive. There's no downside to it. In other words, there's no negative aspect to the choice. Either choice you make is a winning option. That's the best kind of conflict to have. You have to make a choice. That's why it's a conflict. But either choice you make is perfect. It's like you got a scholarship and it's for 2 different colleges and everything is equal. You can't go to both. So you got to choose which university, you see. But that's not a common conflict. The most common conflict is what? An approach avoidance conflict. Either choice you make has good and negative aspects to it. That's an approach avoidance conflict. Either choice you make is going to have a negative part to it and a positive part. So then you got to really think about it and try to work it out and figure out how you want to approach it. And there's 2 other types of conflicts too. There's approach avoidance and avoidance. But we won't go into that today because this is not a psychological video. Scotch excludes the E before the Y and only uses peat. Right, they don't use the E. In Canada, they don't use the E. In Ireland, they use the E. And in the United States, it's either or. See, so I've had people try to tell me, you're wrong. I said, I'm not wrong. In the United States, you can use KY or KEY. You decide. It's either or. There is, in fact, if you look at the United States government documents, they always use WHISKY. They don't use E. Talking about U.S. government documents, they always say WHISKY, like in Scotland and Canada. But if you want to say KEY, go ahead. That's allowed. There's no law against it. I had somebody tell me the other day, well, you know, Jack Daniels is not bourbon. It's Tennessee whiskey. I said, no, it is bourbon. It's bourbon that's made in Tennessee. And I talked to him about it. He didn't respond, you know, like you're wrong, you know, get into a conflict. He just probably realized I knew what I was talking about. I do know what I'm talking about with that. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see y'all later.